Okay, good. I finally got a chance to talk to Brock Pierce after his talk at Coin Agenda. You got instantly mobbed as soon as you walked out of that hall, as I expected. So I was just thinking, everywhere you go, like every project you touch, you're going to bring a certain amount of star power to it. So how do you sort through it? Like, how do you triage all of those different projects and decide which ones are worthy and which ones you can just ignore?
Well, I try to help everyone. I live my life in service, and I serve those that are serving others first. The more you live your life in service, the more you're focused on helping others and less focused on self-interest. I think we talked about the world of scarcity. I call that the game of compounding interest. I'm playing a game called compounding impact. So people that are trying to have a positive impact on the world and benefit others are the people that I triage and help first. But in general, I want to help everyone, as long as you have good intentions. And I do that with as much time as I have, and I try and help everyone to the extent I can. The projects I get involved in are the ones that I think are going to have a positive impact on the world, and where the entrepreneurs are and the team are doing things for the right reasons, and they're focused on building a community more than taking care of themselves. And sometimes I make good decisions, sometimes I don't make the best decisions, but I'm always trying to do the best that I can for everyone. Okay,
right. And what's your current involvement with the EOS project and all of that?
The team is obviously longtime friends of mine, going back more than a decade in most cases. I got involved early on to help them, and I'm normally not very formally involved with many projects because I'm involved with so many projects that I'm happy not having my hands tied. So I'm not formally at Block 1 any longer, but I'm obviously still a huge supporter of EOS. And as I am of Ethereum and Bitcoin and everything else, and because EOS has just launched, I'm especially involved for the time being. But I try to go wherever I can have the biggest impact. That's my focus. And right now, I can still have a big positive impact on the success of EOS, so it still gets a fair amount of my time. But I'm always looking for the next thing that needs me most, because they've got a lot of money and they've got a great team and they've got a great project. As they continue to progress in their evolution of that project, the impact I'm going to have will become less and less. But I go where I'm most needed.
Awesome. And how much time do you spend every day reading the crypto news?
I spend more time doing things than I do reading news, but I try to stay, abreast of everything. I try to keep my finger on the pulse. I don't sleep very much, so, I get a lot done.
Last thing, you noted in your talk, you said the Philippines is going to be one of the next hot points for crypto companies to set up. Why is that?
So it's ultimately the dynamic. So the developing world is where the biggest impact exists and where the need is the greatest. And so you've got 3 billion people that are unbanked in the world, another couple billion that are underbanked. And so you're looking at about 2/3 of the population of the planet that are underserved by financial institutions, and there's a variety of reasons for that. But because of that need, I think that the biggest markets and the biggest consumer adoption is going to come from the financial inclusion in the developing world. So Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia. The question has always been, where first? And that's going to happen where the right combination of events, call it the stars align, and where you have government sort of support. And so the Philippines is that market where the stars have aligned, and you've got sort of the government and central banks and call it the key incumbents, the market constituents that are generally supporting this. You got 100 million people, 80% of whom are unbanked. They were the first market to adopt social networking, English speaking, somewhat U.S. dollar denominated in terms of the peso's connection to the dollar. The central bank being on board, the government creating a market for testing these sorts of things. You've got all the right attributes, and you've got support and willingness from, call it the incumbents. That combination of things, I think, have teed it up for, huge, fast success. I mean, Coins.ph already has 5% of the population of the country using a blockchain-based wallet. So it's all of those attributes that leads me to believe that that's where we're going to see the biggest market adoption, the greatest consumer adoption over the next 12 to 24 months, as long as, those attributes stay as they are. But it won't be the only market. Obviously, there are others. And wherever we see, call it the willingness and support of the incumbent system, meaning the big market players in government, come into alignment with the innovators, when we see that sort of trinity form, I think we're going to see explosive growth and the betterment of the people.
Awesome. I hope you're right.
Of quality of life. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the Philippines. It's complicated spending so much time in Puerto Rico, because you couldn't pick two more difficult places to travel between. But I go where I think I can have the biggest impact, and I'm okay with it being inconvenient for me.
Awesome. Well, all the best with all that.